I have a mortgage of £490,000 and it's still got 33 years and 8 months left to pay. However, I want to retire in just 16 years' time. Now, I turn 41 next month and my plan is to retire around 57, but ideally 55 if I can get there. So, what's the plan of attack? I want to retire with no mortgage, a healthy stocks and shares ISA, and a healthy pension. And ideally, I want an income of somewhere between £30,000 and £40,000 per year to live on. Now, let's start with a mortgage. So we bought this house just around 18 months ago and it's still got £490,700 left on the balance, but we're currently paying £2,479.74 per month. However, we are on a 4.89% interest rate, which is pretty high. And so in November this year, we will be up for renewal. And the Bank of England interest rate has come down several times since we took up this mortgage. And so my hope is there will be another couple of drops. But even as a worst case scenario, I think we'll be on somewhere around 4%, but that could go down as low as 3.5% potentially, and also will depend on the term of the mortgage. That means our monthly payments could drop by up to as much as £450, which my plan is to divert that money, not as an overpayment, but into my stocks and shares ISA. More on that in a minute. As I said, my remaining term is 33 years and 8 months. In addition to that, I am making some very small overpayments on my mortgage using an app called Sprive. It's basically a cashback app where we do like our online Sainsbury's shop and they'll give us 2.5% cash back, but it never gets paid to you. It gets paid straight off your mortgage. So I've used it for that. I've used it for Halfords for buying new tires. I've used it for Amazon, stuff like that. And I'll use it throughout the year, in particular at Christmas, where I tend to spend obviously a few thousand. And I also need to book holidays and stuff. And so booking.com, Expedia and stuff like that have just been added. So I can get a good amount of cash back. I'm aiming for around £25 to £30 per month, just using that alone. Now, I don't really condone overpaying on your mortgage because you can usually get better gains in a stocks and shares ISA in the stock market. Not financial advice, of course. And this for me is just a bit of fun. So by doing £25 per month over the next 16 years, I could shave around £7,250 off the mortgage. Not bad. And if you've never heard of Sprive or you've never used it, but you do have a mortgage, you can sign up and use my promo code MARK to get a bonus of £5 off your mortgage. There's also a link below. Now, back to the stocks and shares ISA. So I currently invest £150 per month. You may have seen my series. I'm doing £100 per month into my early retirement. And then every week I'm investing £10 per week into a new company based on the letter of the alphabet. So that comes to approximately £150 per month. And I'm going to do that for the next 8 months because, as I said earlier, my mortgage will then renew and we'll have hopefully around £450 additional left. From that point onwards, I should have around £1,600 in my stocks and shares ISA, and I will increase our monthly investments to £600. Now, by investing with £600 per month for 16 years, assuming a 7% annual growth, I could see a future value around £201,740. Now on to my pension. So my current pension pot sits around £97,000, and I'm adding £700 per month via salary sacrifice. On top of that, my employer adds £400 per month, and then I also use my social media income that is sat in my limited company to add a further £1,000 to a separate pension. After 16 years of continued contributions at that level, also assuming 7% annual growth, could see a future balance of £1,044,000. So fast forward 16 years, my mortgage balance would be sat at around £347,970. My stocks and shares ISA, as I mentioned, should be around £201,740. My pension, just over £1 million at £1,044,000. And from that pension, I will be able to, in 16 years' time at the age of 57, take a 25% tax-free lump sum. Now that would be £261,000. So if we add the ISA and the tax-free lump sum together, that gives me a pot of £462,740, pure cash sat in my account if I want it, and a mortgage balance of just £347,970, meaning I could pay the whole lot off in one go. That would leave me with £114,770 in cash, plus £783,000 still in my pension, which based on a rough 4% drawdown could give me £36,000 of income for life. However, that doesn't include a few things. So that doesn't account for the fact that state pension will be hopefully available to both me and my wife around 10 years after this date. My wife also has workplace pensions. However, they're not at the same sort of scale of mine, but by the time we get there, it could be 150 to 200k. So we could also factor that in. It's also highly likely that when I did retire, I would front load the income. So we maybe took 50 or 60,000 pounds per year and then drop that right back to then just have the state pension plus a top up from what we've got left. We would also potentially want to set up the kids with their first house, deposits, weddings, that sort of thing. One thing we won't do is cover university fees. Firm believer that actually getting into debt for that is great, and a lot of people never even pay that off. And Martin Lewis speaks highly of not doing that, but actually contributing to their living costs instead. So I would probably consider that. But either I would be able to do that from the cash that I've got left over or from the income that we've got coming in from our pensions. So all of that considered means I could probably get there maybe 1 or 2 years sooner, but that would rely on a few things. Number one, that I could retain the same level of income that I do now, including my business income, for around the next 10 years. The second one is that I then put any future pay rises directly into my pension. Third thing would be increasing my investments as the kids get older, become adults and stuff, and hopefully less dependent, who knows. And then fourth thing, and probably most importantly, is that the stock market plays ball and it doesn't have a massive downturn when I need it most. I'm going to actually build a tool so I can track that properly. So I'm going to do updates on this. I'm going to update on my progress to early retirement. I'm going to aim for 57, but if I can get there and I'm ahead of schedule and I can retire at 55, then so be it. What are your plans for retirement, and how do you think my plans stack up? Do you think they're feasible? Do you think I continue to earn? Because I do earn around 100k. And I make a good amount of money in my side business as well. And the social media income might not last forever. What do you think? Do you think my plans are flawed or not? Do let me know in the comments below.